Hi guys, so in today's video we're going to go over the next step of the process, which is coming from the break of structure or the boss. We're now going to look at the change of character, which is called ChoCH, and this is a process within the market that gives us a potential reversal. And again, we need to always highlight that the keyword is potential. It's just a signal that's telling us that the market might be going in the opposite direction. So um, just to emphasize that always, that every concept that we do here is it's always potential. It's never 100% guaranteed. We just need to be able to read the market in order to define our position in terms of what we're taking. But I will say as well that if you do learn this process, that you will take points off the market, because if you can identify a valid shock after a break of structure, the percentage chance of you actually catching a move, whether it's a large move or a small move, doesn't really matter, but it will give you the potential to find those turnarounds within the market as well. So looking at the daily chart here on Nasdaq, where do we have a chalk? So really simple. If we run through like we did before, I'm going to start just here, and we'll drag our thing across here for a break of structure. So we're on a daily chart here, so we have a daily break of structure. Let me zoom into this level here just to make it a little bit clearer. And then we have another high, so that creates a high, which makes a higher high. That's a daily break of structure. Moves a little bit higher, we're trying to find a low. So this is our low that created that break of structure, so that's there. Market moves higher to create a higher high. So we have our another break of structure here. So we have, what are we on, daily break of structure, and this is the low that created that break of structure. So we have this here. Market moves higher. This would probably be quite weak on a daily chart. No, it's not. Sorry, it's just very hard to see. But this is what we need to know as well: is that there's a very small high here, which is a break of structure. So daily boss there, and you can see there's also a low here sticking out that gives us our first change of character. So we have a change of character here, and the reason we have a change of character is that the low that created the new high, the new break of structure, this was a strong low. It did its job, and now because this strong low is violated, the market is telling me, because it wants to break that strong low, it's now changing direction. So you could see here that when market moved up, came down and swept the low. So you can see there's a tiny little tick there below that low. So that doesn't count as a change of character, because that's just simply a liquidity sweep. And that's just taking people that were long here and they had their stop loss really tight below this low. But this low here failed to make a higher high. It didn't take out this high, so this low didn't do its job. So then it was weak, and that's where market came through. So the low that did its job in this case was then ran to create a daily change of character. So it has to be the low that did its job, that was then ran and closed, that then creates that change of character. So if we look down here, we can see the same thing again. Let me just remove these drawings really quick. So we'll say that's our break of structure, because this would be our chalk. But let's just say this is our daily break of structure to the downside. Market comes down, makes a lower high, and this is our strong high here, and then makes a lower low. So that's ran and closed. So we have our daily break of structure. Market comes down, makes a low here. This is all internal structure, so I don't trust this. This makes a low, 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 low. This didn't make a higher high, so this doesn't count. So this is a low here. Our break of structure, and we have daily break of structure there. Price comes down. This is now our strong high, and price comes down, makes a lower low, and then it comes back up and violates this high. So now this is our daily change of character. So this is just telling us basically that the market is potentially reversing. Doesn't mean as soon as it gets a change of character I'm in long, I need to now find out an area of opportunity within these levels. So I can see within here to here, there's a whole load of space that has been created. And I could then, something that we'll do in later videos, is I can then start going through this to see where is an area of interest that that the market might pull back to in order for me to start looking for longs to follow up in the opposite direction. So I'm using this as a change in bias of direction. That's essentially what I'm doing. I'm saying the market came down, it did its job, and then that job was violated. So the market is telling me now that it potentially wants to change direction. And then the next part of my job is to start hunting the levels of which the market could potentially return from and go much higher, which it does here. So you can see, just again to review this and go through kind of what we did in the previous video for the break of structure, just as a really nice exercise to get more and more examples. We have a low, high, made a lower low. So this high, this low, because it did its job, is a strong low. And again, I'll explain this later on in more detail. It created a daily change of character. Market came down, failed to make a lower low, so then it came back up and created a daily break of structure. Made a high, failed to make a lower low, just here, and then the market ran higher. So this was a daily break of structure. So it came up, price came down to here and made a higher high. This is a nice little one, actually, a nice little example to see here, just where we need to be careful. So this is a daily break of structure. The lowest point that did this was here, and we had a daily ChoCH. And this is what we need to be aware of, is that sometimes a ChoCH could be a strong sweep. There's no real strong push down on this level. So I'm not just going to enter here. Just because it does a ChoCH, I don't enter. So I doubt we get caught up in this trade. So price has pulled back. It's created a daily ChoCH here. Not a very strong ChoCH. You see, it hasn't a push down and closed, but then instantly started to reverse. So this gives me a warning sign then that's saying it's not really pushing through, or it's not continuing lower to create a break of structure to the downside as well. Created a ChoCH, pulled back up. I could look for shorts in this level, but and I could do this later on, but I would probably hunt for them. This is such an aggressive candle that I could pretty much guarantee not a single short entry came up within this level. But again, we'll go through that later on in the process. So you can see then it changes from a ChoCH to ChoCH. So we have a daily change of character here. And this is now our strong low. So if I take this level here, price pushes up, creates a higher high, and comes down, fails to make a lower low. So then we have another break of structure. Price comes down, makes a strong low, which is here. Price continues higher, makes a higher high, break of structure. And then comes down, makes a low, just here, and we get a ChoCH. So now we have our daily ChoCH here, indicating a potential reversal. Price comes back up. I could find an area within here. There's probably an order block or close a fair value gap or something like that within there, or whatever area of interest. I would be watching as it comes up, and then we get a ChoCH and a boss. No, we don't get a boss actually. It just sweeps the lows. But still, if you were short from up here and it comes down and this was your target because it failed to do its job, you would get a win off that trade. Then price comes up. We're going to say this is a strong high because it did its job. You can see here again, nice example. Price sweeps the high but doesn't really push through. And then within that internal structure, we have a change of character again on the daily. So again, I can look for shorts throughout these levels. Price comes back up, creates another massive monthly break of structure here, or change of character, and continues on to the upside. So I would recommend on any charts that you use, whether it's indices, forex, whatever you're trading, crypto, whatever it is, have a look through your charts and start marking off breaks of structure and changes of character, and see how the market reacted after those different sections. If you can train your eye to map these out correctly, the stock market is fractal, so whatever happens on the higher time frame has to first happen on the lower time frame. So I don't think I'll be able to see this on 1 minute, but say for example, we pull back here. I'm going to see if I can find this on a 5-minute chart and give you an example just to see a break of structure and a change of character within that. So this might take a while to zoom back and find it, but we'll give it a go. So here we are. Here's our block. So I just highlighted the block so I could see it. Market price isn't even. Oh, it is. Is it? Is it loading in? Don't shut me off now. Okay, it's cut me off right at the point I wanted to see. So TradingView doesn't go back that far on such a short time frame. I'll see if I can find it on 15 minutes just to give you an example. Or is it gone? I've messed my TradingView up now. So let's try 15 minutes on this just to see. Why is this so slow? So it comes down. Let's see within this level. So price first entry in. We have a high that makes a low. And then this is eventually closed above. So this is a 15-minute change of character. So you can see there, 15-minute change of character. And now, like, to be honest, I wouldn't even be entering on 15 minutes. I'd go even lower time frame. I probably would have been in somewhere around here and been long and out before this even happens. But you can see we have our 15-minute strong low that did its job. It created the entire move to the upside. Price comes back again. I could look at this and say, right, is there an entry on a 1 minute within here as price is pulling back, creates a higher high, fails to make a lower low, and then it shoots off again. So there's loads of entries here. You have a high, fails to make a lower low. I could enter here. Low makes a higher high. Sweeps lows. I could look for an entry here and so on. Same as this. Makes a higher high throughout this entire range. You have a pullback. We find out why. It's probably a resistance level off at this. That's causing the bounce here and so on. So when you can define your higher time frame market structure and where the potential bias of the market to go is heading, you can then determine different levels within the stock market of that you want to trade. So I can then hunt different areas that markets can pull back to, find my entry pattern on the lowest time frame possible. But generally I probably wouldn't go more than a minute, lower than a minute, because 15 seconds and all that can get really crazy. But yeah, it gives you a really good advantage and puts the odds in your favor to pick trades that are going to be winners, whether you're hunting massive swings up or down or just short term 4, 5, 6 to 1s. Practicing this will be 90% of what you're trying to achieve in the stock market. If you can nail this down, you will start to see where the entries come in, why the market is moving, where the shifts come from, and it will build your confidence in totality in terms of how you're going to trade in the future. So any comments or questions, just send them over and I'll be happy to answer them.